Welcome to my living room. Um, I thought it was a great idea if we can just sit and knit together. So what I'm working right on is like squares that I'll need for my class that I'm teaching on how to make bunny rabbits. And when I was knitting, I always enjoyed the company of other knitters. And of course, right now with our isolation, I really enjoyed knitting, watching other people knit on YouTube. So I thought, oh, what a great idea. So my day didn't go quite as planned. I wanted to go in my sewing room and put all those quilter squares together, maybe make a bag or an oven mitt or a placemat. And then I stumbled across a YouTube on how to declutter. And it was just something I haven't heard before. And what they did is interviewed Tracy McCubbin about her book, Making Space Clutter Free. And there was one moment in there where she was talking about the clutter in the bedroom and how people sometimes just have insomnia and really are not sleeping well because, you're waking up to a to-do list in your bedroom, or sometimes you just store it to get out of the way because you want the living room to be nice, like, which is what I have been doing. It's like somebody's coming over, I stick everything in my bedroom real quick so my living room looks nice. So instead of going and knitting, instead of going and sewing, I went into my bedroom, and it took me only an hour and a half, cleaned it, got all the clutter gone. And the funny thing is I found a bag that I used to take with me to work, and it had all my stuff in there that I needed at work. I haven't been working since all of this pandemic started, and so I put all the stuff away where it belonged. Did have places to go to, which is really nice and helpful if you have places where things live and you can always find them again. That's a great idea. Anyway, I made that bag. I even made an insulation for it. And I couldn't use it because it was sitting there collecting dust. So now all the things in it are where they belong, and my bag is free to use for other purposes, which is cool, I think. So Tracy McCubbin, on her book Making Space and Clutter Free, has some really good tips. And of course, with me wanting to have a clutter-free home has been a wish for a long, long, long time. And I think what's in my way is that I still have a mentality of a big house, but I live in a small cottage. And of course, with me going into projects and projects and projects, I have a lot of material. For example, my son left for college. So I made his room into my sewing room. And it's interesting, is like back then when he was still here, I would get my sewing machine out. I usually would make bags and put them on the kitchen table. And then when it was time to fix dinner and eat at the table, I would have to put it away again. And then I added all the space of his room, and that filled up really, really fast. So it's interesting how you create more space and it fills up. There must be a law about that somehow. But also, I have thought about how about if I create a space that is just free and clear. Nothing ever gets put there or clutters it. For example, when I walk into the house, I put my keys in a bowl and they're always there. I'll find them. And on that same surface, just to have 3 items instead of, oh yeah, I brought the mail and it lands there, and I have a cup that lands there. By the way, go grab yourself a nice cup of your favorite beverage. Which reminds me, this is my first video that I do like this, so It's going to be messy, but that's what they say on the YouTube channel. It's like, get into action. It doesn't matter. You'll never be ready for it. Just get into action. And here I am. I'm in action. Where was I? Yeah. Just have one space in your home that has no clutter. It's just free to breathe. Oh, home. That's another thing that they talked about in this YouTube video. Let me see. I made notes. The home is there to support you. And I'm thinking about it, it's like, yeah, my home supports me. It has everything I need and more. It serves me well. And when I look in my kitchen, it has all of the power tools that I want, and they don't clutter my counter. There's just the Vitamix. There is a water heater and a food shopper. So I don't clutter my counter with stuff like microwaves or one-time, one-purpose use items like popcorn maker or rice maker or whatever there is, which items that serve only one purpose. Yeah, cooking. You need a knife, a board, and a pot. Anyway, let me look at my notes. What she said is like, yeah, get into action. Sometimes it takes 3 months to realize that what I was pushing away for 3 months was only taking me 3 minutes to actually do and get it done with. And you know what? A cluttered home invites for a long to-do list. And by the way, a to-do list is never a good idea as long as you don't have a date by when it is done list. Otherwise, it's just you just carry it over, and the list gets longer. So, done is better than good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to go to bed tonight in my clean bedroom. Oh my gosh. And it's so nice too because the dust is collecting in there because I fold my laundry on my bed. And Spencer's coming home for spring break. Spencer's my son. He's at college. And he does not do well with dust. So I'll have to make sure that I'll dust very well when he gets here, before he gets here. Ha. Talking of clutter, my email has 1,000 plus messages. So that's probably the next thing that I'm going to tackle. I want to bring them down to, there's the daily email. And then there's just the things that I have in folders that needs to be sorted and can be sorted, and I can easily find them. Emails. Oh, what really helps with emails, I have figured out, unsubscribe. If you're not really interested anymore and you just getting clutter in my email folder, I'll just go ahead and unsubscribe. So that stops. That's really cool. Oh. All the things that I am holding on to is my closet. I have a hard time moving my hangers. That's also a project I'm going to tackle. And here it is. It's like if my closet is so full that I can hardly move a hanger, then I also am not inspired to go in there and look for clothes to wear because it's just too much effort to get to the piece that I want. So I just grab something that's in front, and what I end up is like taking the same pair of pants, taking the same pair of whatever, right? Everything that is just in reach. So the stuff that's in the back in the closet never gets used. And I do have some clothes. I have not changed my weight since I was 18 very much. So the things that I have brought over from Germany are still fitting. My friend says I'm stuck in the 80s. No, I think I'm stuck in the 70s and 60s. Anyway, I'm going to make an effort too and reduce that. I have a Goodwill right down the road. Makes it easy to take it away. So one time I heard that if you look around in the room and you imagine everything in your room has a string attached to you, how difficult would it be to move around? And there are strings, invisible strings attached to us anyway, because there are people who want something from us. And then there's things that we need to get done. For example, I have to do grocery shopping in order for me to cook my food. I consider that a string too. So there's different strings pulling me in different directions, but sometimes it's like drawing a line between things that are useful and things that I'm just attached to that don't serve any purpose other than keeping me down and making it hard for me to move. Do you have that? Do you have too many things? It's scary. Scary when you just think everything has something attached to you and it's a string and you can't move because there's so many attachments. And I'm not talking we have to be minimalist living. There's a movie scene that I have in my head where a guy comes to a nun and asks her for monetary help. And she takes him to her room and says, "You can take anything in this room." And the room was so sparse. There was a bed, there was a dresser, and one cross on the wall. Now, I don't want to live like that. I really don't. But I have nothing against a feng shui style house where I can walk straight and don't have to go around things that are on the floor. And of course, a good storage system helps too, because if I have boxes that are not only just sitting on the floor, but if I can actually stack them up, that would just serve me well, because this little space that I have in this house would be more efficiently used. And we're keeping going. Keeping going. Oh, freak, that reminds me. I used to work with somebody who was always dressed to the T. And I asked him, it's like, how do you do that? And he says, it's easy. When my stuff gets cleaned, I put it back in hangers where I can just grab it all together. So he has different ensembles, and all he has to do is grab an ensemble. It has the shirt, the pants, the belt, the tie, everything handy and together and ready. It's like, that's a neat idea. He doesn't spend any time digging through the laundry basket and figuring out, it's like, oh my gosh, where did I put that shirt? I can't find it. Where is it? It's like, we're already stressed before we even out the door. So actually, if you think about it, decluttering creates freedom. If I can go out the door and I have had room in my kitchen to prepare my breakfast, to make a cup of coffee, been able to find my clothes, can grab my keys on the way out because they're always in that bowl by the door. I don't have to look for them. It's freedom. We have more time for things that are really important to us. And I think clutter can also just really get you stressed. Do you have a dumping room? I do. Like things that don't have a place in my home, they get dumped in my dumping room. You can't move around in there. Now, it's just, there's a desk, right? and drawers. And I can't get to the drawers without moving 2 or 3 things. It's ridiculous. I'm going to do something about it. Yeah, that's my mom was always saying. It's like, do you own the stuff or does the stuff own you? Wow. I'm just thinking you can actually take a holistic approach to cluttering. And it doesn't have to be like everything color coordinated and filing systems and perfect. It's like it has to work for you in your style. It has to work. The good news is I brought all the stuff in. I can take it out. And then there are the things that have sentimental value. Somebody gave it to me. Somebody made it for me. And my mom still has things, so does my dad, that I knitted back then when I was in Germany. It's over 30 years ago. Still holding on to it. You know, it's not a problem when it serves a purpose. But if somebody gives you a gift and you feel obligated to keep it, that's not the attention from the gift giver, right? They don't want you to feel obligated. They want it to bring you joy and happiness and not obligation. So have you seen the movie Harold and Maude? Harold falls in love with Maude, a 70-year-old woman, and at a fair, he makes a ring for her. Like he stamps something in it. And they're sitting by the water, and he gives her that ring. And she just is overjoyed, loves the ring, loves the gift, and throws it in the water. And Harold says, "Why did you do that?" So I always know where it is. It's so cool. Yeah. Life without attachment is cool. Really. So if you take all my things away, am I still Ilse? Or do my things define me? I'm still Ilse. I'm still Ilse. Now here's a funny story. So my first husband built me a bookshelf. It's a big bookshelf. And I love books. And my church gave them away freely for $1. So we had an exchange. You could bring them in there. And then you could go and look through them. And for $1, you could come home with a book. And I love books. So it was getting to the point that my bookshelf was leaning more and more and more until a friend says, "Ilse, I have a board that we can put on there." So I took all my books down, and he came and put the back on there. And then when I wanted to put the books back on there, they didn't fit in there. It didn't fit on there anymore. I had way too many books. So I had to sort them out. And for me, to make it easier to let them go, I just took them back to the church. But for me to make it easy to go, it's like I just took pictures of the books. And that helped me to let go of them. See, they don't serve anybody if they're just sitting in the shelf and I'm not touching them. But if somebody else would like to read them, they're there, readily available. Oh, this is so cool. So when I watched this video this morning about Making Space and Making Space Clutter Free with Tracy McCubbin. Right at the end of the video, which I'm going to post a link down below, she mentioned that it's available anywhere, bookstores, Amazon, and she said even some of the libraries started carrying it. So I went to my library and they actually had a copy on the shelf. So started reading, got up to page 5. And I'm looking forward to reading some more. All right. I don't want to keep you much longer. Maybe we can do this again. There's a lot more we can talk about clutter and how living a clutter-free life can free us up to do the things that we really want to do, that really matter to us. Have a great evening. Thank you for watching.